はい。So I'll just put my camera slightly down. I need to press that button. So many. Hey. O互いにね、お願いします。
お願いします。お願いします。
Just put it there. こちらに、はい。はい。はい。と、はい。はい。右に開け、左に開け、左に開け、右に開け、すぎ足前、すぎ足後、すぎ足前、すぎ足後、歩み足前、歩み足後、歩み足前、歩み足後、jalan kemana? Jalan kemana? Jalan kemana? Jalan kemana? Jalan kemana? Jalan kemana? Wagi kemana? Jalan kemana? Wagi kemana? Jalan kemana? Wagi kemana? Jalan kemana? Pasuli kemana? Jalan kemana? Pasuli kemana? Jalan kemana? Pasuli kemana? Jalan kemana? Jalani kemana? Jalani kemana? Jalani kemana? Jalani kemana? Okay, let's do a couple of smoothie. Jogi booty. Admit. Sa. Chi. Go. Dog. Six. Hut. You. Ju. X. Me. Sa. Chi. Go. Dog. Six. Hut. You. Ju. 持ち帰って2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、斜め振り。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、1、2、3、 5、6、7、8、9、10。横振り。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。斜め振りしてから、1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。振り返し。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。やめ。はい。That's all.
You've been frozen for quite some time.
Sorry? Sorry?
Oh, yes, now you've been frozen for quite some time. Now you're moving a bit again, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I didn't, okay. But could you hear?
I can still hear you, so.
Okay.
I can hear you, so, yeah.
Okay, because I didn't see anyone stopping, so okay, you could hear. Okay, I could see you. So it was working for me. Hi, so let's do the thoughts. Let's start with the main. Medo dele. Medo dele. Medo dele. Medo dele. Copy o dele. Conteúdo D. Conteúdo D. Conteúdo D. Furentes meu D. Furentes meu D. Furentes meu 振り上げてすねを打て。振り上げてすねを打て。はい。So, hi, Kevin. We're going to do, after this, we're going to do some sune from our store, and we're going to do some fumikami sune. And so when I mentioned this, because when we sune, try not to use your, like keeping your arm completely, so do not grip too tightly, front hand, and then do this. Okay, no, from here, your front end is going to, like, I still have this distance at least for sune, okay, but my hand, because I go up, because, okay, I go up and forward, when here, so big movement through the center, and then my hand has to slide to go for sune. Otherwise, it's going to be here, right? But you can also cheat in a way and grip it too tightly, and then your body is going to break up a little. So for that not to happen, I know it's difficult to see if it's happening or not, like with the facing forward to the camera, but try to be more soft with your front arm, okay? So let it go, it goes there, and then it has to come down a little, okay? And also then before the point of impact, okay? And it stops there, okay? Right. So let's do a couple more sune, furiage sune, okay? Right. Okay, let's go for furiage sune, right? There we go, Alexander. Is everything okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go for the exercise. Thank you, okay. And practice the wall. Furiagete, sneo, Furiagete, sneo, Furiagete, sneo, Furiagete, sneo, Furiagete, sneo, Okay. Inko, skip. Inko, skip. Inko, skip. Inko, skip. Okay. Inko, skip. Last one. Inko, skip. Furikeshi, men wo tik. 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 Furikeshi menu T. Furikeshi snewo 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 T. Okay. Sokumen T. Sokumen Sokumen T. 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 Now snip. Snewo T. Snewo T. Snewo T. Snewo T. Snewo T. Snewo T. Menu T. No, Hi. So we did this film, okay? We didn't focus too much now doing the Sune because we're now going to do Sune for a couple of minutes for part of the class. Okay, so let's go through things I'd like to see while doing the Sune. So focus first. Like the Kamai is important. Kamai is one of the most important things. Not that I'm an expert on doing it, but it's really important. But I think that one of the most important things is how you get there. Okay, like the process into which you get into the Kamai is as important as the Kamai. Because you can get into Kamai doing this kind of movement, for instance, you get there, but then you are wasting too much time doing two movements in shifting the Kamai from Chudan to Hustle. Okay, so it's like a waste of time, a waste of energy, okay? So many people do it here, okay? I guess if it works for you, I guess it's not completely wrong, right? So I don't say that's what I'm going to show. We already talked about this before, but I'm not going to say that's like the only way to do it. But I like I like it when I see it, so I like to do it like this. So what I try to think, like I already mentioned this in the past, I don't do a two-step motion. I do a one-step motion where my hand is doing a circle here, this is doing a circle here. So there's this point at the center where both come together.
Frozen.
No, Tula, me. I see him very well.
But
Tula, check your internet.
Okay, so I was frozen for
Well,
okay. But can you see?
well, it was frozen most of the time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Eduardo, I see you very well at the moment.
Okay, so maybe it's something on the side problem. I don't know, I can see everywhere. Today, everything is working. After it started working, it's working well in general. Okay. But yeah, we're having some issues.
But if you put the recording up, I can look afterwards. If you put the recording up on the messenger, I can look afterwards.
Yes. But it's always better if you can do it like watching at the time. Because like now, but yeah, let's try to do our best with our current technical limitations. Yes. Hi. So here I want you to focus more on the first part, get into the kamai. So trying really to be smooth and non-stop. So going there in one single motion. So if you see it, I'm not stepping here. I'm just moving without stop, okay? If your end position at the end is not perfect for now, which is kind of also, there's this way to do, there's this way to do, there's 7 different ways of reading the Naginata here. So yeah, I will not say which one is best because I don't know, but which one is actually best. I do it like this most of the time. Sometimes I do it like this. It depends. Okay, I don't think it's a difference, so I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just different, both ways. But the switching, I do think that this is different because, and not that good, because you're wasting time and movement and energy. I just do one motion, okay? It's more difficult to get there on the right place that you want, and here also, but I think it pays off after you're able to do it. So this is one of the things I want for people to try today, and also have this at the center at the end. So try to maintain your Ishizuki at the center. So you can see the center from the Akama line in case of any else. Okay. Also, we're not in Bogo at the moment, so sometimes in Bogo people go forward here. They shouldn't, but sometimes it happens because of the door. But yeah, try not to go that way. Try just to close to your body, change, okay? And don't change here. So you can do a circle and change it here also. Like not a good way of doing, but try to change in the center. So coming, when I go, it's here, the change happens here, okay? So trying to be there to the change, okay? Going up is easier than going down for me. Like here, going to Aso is easier than going to Shodan. Okay. Probably my problem. Okay. Right. So let's do this. Let's do Sune. Okay. Just normal Sune, but focus on this part first and strike Sune, and then we'll focus on another thing in a couple of moments. Okay. Right. So until Yami, okay, each one doing their own pace, okay. Try to focus on the feeling and on the motion, and I'll do, watch, fix, and so on until Yami. Okay, my tip. So the practice. As me. Stay.
Stay. Stay. Stay. Stay. Stay. Stay.
Yeah, so there's a slide still stopping, okay, but yeah, there's still a little this, okay, but it's okay. Like it's okay. It's difficult to change something like Motrikai. It takes a lot of time. A lot of time. A lot. So yeah, that's okay. As long as you understand, I can see that. I feel like you understand what I said, so it's okay. But just keep on trying to do that. So now we're going to be shifting between upper body and lower body, so let's try not to forget about things going on with each side, okay? So lower body. There are two things about the strike that I think can be better. When doing Itori like now, practicing by yourself, right? It's always like, sometimes I practice and I also film me, of course, like just now. And then I watch and I'm like, it's not quite that. And one of the things that I think, of course, distance is difficult when you don't have a partner in front of you, okay? It now happens to me when I'm able to practice with a partner, although just Shikaki logic at the moment with my son, but yeah. But sometimes I notice that now I'm cutting too deep or striking too deep. But that's not the usual problem. The usual problem is too short, okay? And why is that a problem? Like what's happening at the moment? From what it looks like it's happening because distances are difficult without 3D and like the camera. So what normally happens is that people do here and then they are moving the legs, but just a small step. Okay, we need more than that to strike in the Naginata. The distance is too far away. Okay, we're 4 meters apart. That's why we can practice moving this time because it's 4 meters apart. But yeah, so trying to reach that distance, you need to step more. For me, at the moment, many times when I notice this, I overcompensate, and then I step way more than I should to actually strike the opponent. But at least I also know that I can shorten it if I want when I have a partner. Okay, but if you're doing always too small, your body gets used to always being short distance. And then what happens, you can see this in the European Championships, for instance. You see that people, instead of being fighting from this far apart, they are many times fighting from here. Okay? And I'm not saying that you cannot strike from here or that you shouldn't like pressure and getting in and then striking. That's a different subject. Okay. I met many people start here, so they are crossing Naginata's here, and then they still need to move again to strike. That's a big no-no. That's very short distance. That's not good for Naginata. You always want to fight as far as possible. Then your Uchiman might be here if you are younger and more athletic. It really depends on your body. But many people, they still need to move a little and then strike. Okay. Of course, Kyo, we are used to thinking monouchi, but that's okay also, because if I'm doing Kyo, I'm standing here, okay, and then I strike without moving. There's nothing else going on, right? There's no starting movement. There's no going back, forward, evading, attacking. No, I'm just standing there and I need to strike at the 4-meter distance, right? So yeah, it's a little different. But if I need to pressure to create an opening, I need to move forward sometimes, push to the side. So I start a little further away so I can actually move. If I already start here and then I move, it's too close, okay? So having said all that, that's like application of this. Really try to move a bit. So
Hey, what happened?
Okay, now I see he's frozen.
It's frozen and it's silent
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
That is again.
Yes. So yeah, I told you sometimes shorter Naginata helps, or trying to if you cannot strike Sune, sometimes like at home I do it and then there's like tables or chairs, and I don't want to eat my chairs or tables, so I'll do Superman. Okay, different movement of course, but I can practice going to a slow and moving forward and striking because there's nothing in the air. Right, on the ground, yes, on the air, not so much. Okay, so that's an alternative. Last thing, so second thing and last for the lower part. Yeah, I need to go forward as much as possible, right? But, sorry, I need to push this and also this. So to go forward, okay. So what is happening also that I'm seeing, if I'm starting here, I don't know if you can see, but there's this line on the floor. That's my heel. That's also my heel. And one is on the left side of the line. The other is, well, it's more than a little off to the side. This is also on the line, but more to the right side. So there's like a Naginata width apart. Okay, here. So like 3-5 centimeters. So not that much, but I can just go straight, right? So if I can just go, I can turn, my hips are forward, I can put all my power just going in a straight line. Easy, okay, to do a big distance. What I saw a couple of times happening is that the heels were aligned, or more than aligned, they were crossing. I could see the other side. And then the movement, instead of becoming straight, if I go from here, it becomes this, okay? And going, so I'm not going on a straight line, I'm going a circular movement, and it's much, at least for me, from my experience, it's much more difficult to go straight forward and far away, right? Then, so if I do it, I'll do my best. From this line, it's here. Okay, right? It's like, if I do it from my normal standing position, I gain about 50 centimeters, okay, I guess. Something like that. Well, maybe 30 centimeters. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a half distance almost. I can strike my opponent much more easily, okay? Even if I don't need to go that further away, I can go that further away, okay? I can if I can go a certain distance further away in the same time, that means I can do a shorter distance faster. Okay, so your body needs to get used to going straight and striking straight for most of your Naginata, okay? Then you get to the Zen kata and you have to strike furigesh when you're going to the side. But that's a different application, okay? So here, let's try to have not in the same line, try to have separated and going straight forward, okay? So you can go further into the distance. So big movements, big step, not in a line, so you can go even further with less effort, okay? Or with the same effort further, okay? Hi, distance, don't forget about the changing, a passo, okay? And now think about the distance you're making with your feet, okay? If you want to do Sokumen, it's also okay. If you don't have the distance for Sokumen. Okay? Until the end. Adivinha?
Yes.
Hey.
Snip. 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 Snip.
Try to avoid looking downwards, try to look forward, don't look into your sune, or don't lower your head, try to keep your head forward while doing the strike, okay? Now I'm
kept
not...
looking at my feet.
Yeah.
I kept looking at my feet to see if I go from right.
Yeah, so, so everyone can listen. So it's very, okay. It's not that it's difficult, okay? Because we want to fix something, and we are taught in studies, in our studies and in our life in general, to try to look at the mistakes we're doing, to understand them. And things that are intellectual, I think it's actually quite beneficial to look at the mistakes and try to understand them and fix them by looking at them at the moment you're doing them. But for me, at least, when doing things like Google, like Naginata, or even something like is more. Some things are more about feeling than about being like completely strict and like looking and seeing. You need to be able to do that just by feeling, not by looking. Okay, I think that Budo and, for instance, music are two things that if you're trying to look at something while you're doing it, it's not going to work. At least for me, it doesn't work that much. Okay, it's more in Budo because in music I suck, but in Budo at least I feel that if I'm trying
horseback riding also.
Yes, yeah. So if you start,
if you look at the fence, you don't get further than that. You have to look beyond the fence.
Yes,
or you won't get over it.
Yes, and also like horse riding, I think it's probably a good example. I don't do horse riding, so I don't know. But I think like from what people tell me, the horse also feels like your body movement and your feelings, what you're doing.
Yes,
so,
yes,
yeah.
it does.
Yes, so it's the same thing. Like in Naginata, even when they're doing alone practice, you should be able to feel your own body and what you're doing. I think that for me is one of the most important things in how to fix something. Of course, you also need to understand what you're doing wrong. So you might feel like you're doing good and your body is feeling nice, but then you see in the videos, oh, my foot is doing that. I didn't understand it. But that comes from experience. After you're doing, and then someone tells you your foot is wrong, your head is wrong. You feel, you think about it, then you start feeling that in your body, and after you feel it, you should be able to continue feeling it if you're doing it or not. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. At the beginning, like sometimes years and years after we started, we still don't have the right notion of our body movement, and we need to look at it to understand. That happens to everyone, but I think what takes us further down the road in terms of practice is to not look at it while doing it, but just trying to feel your body and trying to understand without, because then everything, like one of the next points that I want to talk about is looking is bad in general, especially if you look with your head and not with your eyes, like people do this instead of looking there. You shouldn't look either way, but like if you like in the eye, people that do the idols, they cut and they are looking down after the opponent falls down. Imagine your opponent falls down and look at your eyes, but don't go like this, right? So it's the same thing. You should be able to, because if you look down while doing a cut, for instance, your sword is going to change the direction. Your body is going to crumple up, right? Everything's going to become more compact. Like you need to look further so your movement becomes bigger and more relaxed. Okay, so that's it. So try not. So that's why it's important not to look there, but try to look forward, striking, and then your movement becomes more natural. Okay. So that's one of the things I want to talk about. The other thing, since I'm already stopped for talking, so excellent stuff. If you notice, I'm going to show you what I'm doing wrong. For instance, all I'm going to do, you're going to see my backside. I'm sorry, but you need to understand this. So sometimes when I'm doing a Sune or Superman, you'll see this happening with me. Okay? And you can see especially on the vertical camera, although it's coming on the angle from above, you can see that I tend to lower my center of gravity. Okay, like this, to stop. Is it natural for me to do this? Yes. Is it sometimes that natural is not the best natural, in the sense that sometimes you do something that hurts yourself and your technique? Yes, also true. Like lots of things that we do, like slouching at the sofa. Yeah, it's natural, but it's bad for your back. So we should try to avoid it. Here it's kind of the same thing. It's natural for me to do this, okay, but I shouldn't. Okay, and one of the things I noticed, if I really focus and really, I mentioned many times that you should close or tighten your buttocks. Okay, so here using your gluteus. if I really do this when I'm striking, it becomes something like this. You can see it's much more straighter. Okay, it looks nicer. Also feels nicer. Okay, the strike. So that's also mostly for me, I guess, in a certain sense. But really try to focus on your behind, I guess. So especially on the moment of striking and using the hip at the twist at the end, and that makes your technique stand out more. Okay, makes it look nicer, makes the strike be nicer, and your body movement then from there is really easy to go to like becoming man or any other technique. Okay, so that's my focus at the moment when doing soli. Okay, so let's try not to look. So remember, smooth movement into mochikai. Do not cross your feet. Try to go far away, and now try to look up, straight up with your neck, and use your glutes so that you also strike better. Okay? So essentially, be straight. Okay? Hi. Also tall. Straight. Thank you. Okay, I mean, I'm seeing another thing. I haven't talked about this in a while, but it's kind of related to the line. So sometimes there's still the crossing the line situation going on, okay? And of course, that's going to affect your footwork also, because what you go around, but that's one thing, but also this is also happening. So front foot is going like this here before going to strike, okay? Yeah, so it's related to the crossing, but it's not essential for the crossing or essential mistake. So what I mean by this is you can you can be like on the different lines with the heels, okay, and still moving the front foot, okay, because some people do it like this, some people do it like this, going forward, in general, okay? From what I'm seeing in the camera, it's going like this, okay? So it's not going forward, but both of them are bad because like the worst thing about this is that if the opponent has a keen eye on your footwork, what's going to happen is that, okay, you're going to Aso. If you're just going to Aso like many people do, you don't move your front foot, so there's no attack coming, okay? Like if you're, or if you can, if the guy knows how to do a good strike, he won't move the feet, so and nothing was shown before the strike, okay? Of course, during the strike, lots of things are moving, so, but that's already too late, many times, okay? But if you give that extra time of moving before the strike, he's going to know. And he's going to know why, because nobody stands there in Aso, and like, people can stand in Aso without striking, but no one stands in Aso moving like this, okay? Most of the time when people move while going to Aso is because they're going to strike. So then you can catch the timing during that fraction of a time of a second and get Nukiwaza or Ukewaza on you more easily, okay? So that's one thing, okay? So how can you try to improve this? Not crossing the feet is one way, but not a sure way to do it. But the way I think about and the way I was used to start getting better at this, although I'm still not perfect at doing it, of course. Like I really put power on my front foot. I'll try to have power on my front foot all the time. And I know that I and other people mention this a lot of time, but it's pretty easy to lose focus for a couple of seconds, and then your weight's already down, and then you start moving the foot again. So really try to focus, balls of the feet, power there, even if you move. Okay, and I can go. Okay, so putting the power, you don't need, by the way, you don't need to be here to do this. You don't even need to be here to do this. It's just there. Just power on the balls of feet already. My heels are kind of not touching the ground, like just a sheet of paper. Okay. And I can move. Okay. Just that. It's just like power on the balls of the feet, and it's enough. Okay. Don't need to be like this. That's too much. Okay. Yeah. So let's try to not move. So everything as before, and let's try not to move that front foot to the side, just from here, strike. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to, because we don't have that much time left, we're also going to do something for the upper part. So for the upper part, it's not timing, okay? So not too soon, not too late. Too soon is this happening, right? People going, In CI, that's kind of, it's not okay, in the sense it's not a perfect technique, but people do it. Okay, like, I'm going, okay, but no. Try, like if you're doing a TKH, try to go into a solo, finish your solo, and go. Okay, and that's the second part, is so the first part of the time is not too soon, not going with your shoulder before, but also don't wait, like, don't take a cup of tea while doing that solo. Not, I'm here, I go. No. It's there, as soon as it's there, we go. We can do it slowly, even, but it's a question of timing. As soon as I feel my shoulder locking into place, I can go forward. So I'm going, not resting here and stopping, but lock, lock, okay? So let's try to use those two things now.
Smith. 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 Smith.
Amy? Hi. Let's go for one last thing in Sunni, okay, before we go into Fumicom Sunni, because we're going to finish like 15 past 7 Portuguese time, because we started later, so we're going to finish a little later. I'm sorry. But for Sunni, okay, for Naginata in general, okay, the Kikataino Witch, okay. So it's difficult. I find it much more difficult in Naginata than in Kendo, for instance, with proper Kikentai. But it also depends, like, it's not okay, it's just different. Maybe it's more difficult for my body and so on, but it's different. And of course, the Kikentai for someone that's doing Naginata for 1 week is different from the Kikentai from someone doing for 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, many decades, okay? So of course the level is different. But one thing that we need to take into account is that, like I'm saying, like I think I see it a little more in Tula, the Kikentai being you're striking with the front leg, and then the left leg, the back leg is moving, okay? It shouldn't be, okay? This is less of an issue, oh, it's an issue, okay? But I think it's less of an issue from Aso than it is like in Fumikomi and Furiari. It's happening though in Aso, but you kind of can get away with it easier in a sense. But if you really want to improve the Kikentai Witch, you really should, the striking, it should be with the hip rotation, and because your ear, when you rotate the hip, it's also the back leg is moving forward at that time. And all that power is what generates the striking power in Naginata and the Kikentai Witch. Okay, so not with the front leg and then pulling back. Okay, that's a two-step strike. In a sense, you strike, and then you're going to move into the rest of the Kikentai after your touch. So it might not be the best action for the strike itself.
So I should try to make the back leg move synchronized with a strike then.
Yes.
I should synchronize the back leg and the strike, is that it?
Yes, in a sense, it's that, and it isn't that. But it's mostly that, okay? So why it isn't? Because it isn't 100% that, because here, my leg went between here and the striking Sunni, so down. My leg is moving, okay? So it's moving. But then there's the snap at the end. Okay, it's not, but if you synchronize it, like it's going to become better. Okay, but not really it. Okay, the real motion is moving, and at the end the snap at the same time, but not going. Now I start, and this, slightly offset timing, okay? But it's difficult to explain. So, showing it, okay? So it has to be normal speed, so we have to be able to see. You can slow down the timing on YouTube, for instance, and you can see when I start moving the leg and my arms, okay? Because trying to do it slowly is not going to work. I'm going to think about it and I'm going to do different. So what I usually do is this, okay? So the focus of the type is more on the back leg moving forward, but it's slightly offset as far as I know, okay? The only thing that's not offset is then the striking. This last part where Naginata is going down, this is sliding, this is moving, and tenuti there. Okay? Kind of that. Okay? Hi.
Okay.
So let's.
I think that snap is difficult to get. I think it's difficult to get that snap with the hip.
I think it took me. It's still not perfect, and it has taken me many years to have that snap for the hip. So yeah, it's also, by the way, the hip motion is not that drastic in a sense, because we never over twist our hips or force our body to do crossing motions to one side and the other. We're always moving in a block in that sense, most of the time at least. So for my hip, that I have issues on the left and right side, like kicking, if I was like doing kickboxing, kicking would be a problem because of this motion like this. But for Naginata, I'm moving like this and there. But it's always a natural movement, not that different. If I'm walking, like I'm moving the hips slightly one side and the other. And yeah, I'm moving more, of course, here. But still, it's not like crossing here or doing something straight with the hip and lower back. It's just there. So it's okay. So I think that, yeah, of course, different people, different problems with the hips, but for me, it works well. So I'm pretty happy with how things went, even though I have problems here on the side. Okay, so yeah, hip, snap, important. Don't overdo it. Like some people really overdo it and start pushing to different directions with the hip. So just need to go forward and this. It also helps, by the way, since I'm already talking too much, it also helps if you think about using the inside of the legs and opening, like it's also on your knees in a sense. If you open the hip with your legs, it helps generate some power there. Also closing the glutes here, closing our behind. It helps this, it helps everything here that you use. So instead of being here, legs to knees going inward, it should be outward. And this helps using the hip. Everything helps a little, okay, for the general movement. Right, so let's try to do this snapping motion a little before going to the sumi.
What are you going to do now?
So
what cut are you doing?
Yeah,
what cut are you doing?
So it's still sumi the same, but think about everything that we did with the legs, arms, and so on, and now trying to think about this timing on the strike. Okay, so the timing of the hip movement and the movement itself is a focus now.
Snip. 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 Snip.
So I think that's like in the last 1 hour and something that we've been pressing. I think that overall the general look of the aspect of the movement is looking better now. Like, of course, there's things that need to be practiced, but at least I also feel like my Sune is a little better at the end than it was at the beginning of class. Okay. The difficult part is keeping that.
I think I felt a small snap a couple of times. I think I felt a small snap a few times.
Yeah, it looked better, like the timing of the movement and the movement itself looks better now at the end. Yeah, including the snap, I think it was better. At least from where I'm standing, it looked better. So yeah, so I think it was a good job that we did now. So let's continue. So the thing about Fumikomi Sune and Fumikomi Was in general is that these the timing of the hip snap, the snapping of the hip, the moving of the back leg, the moving of the whole body in general is much more tight. It's a smaller action. It's more tight. And so it's a little more complicated to do it. So let me just say a couple of things about the footwork. And yeah, this might be kind of, so we have, during these last 11 years of Naginata, we've had a couple of people coming from all over Japan to teach us, and all over Europe also, to teach how to do Fumikomi Sune. We don't do it that often at seminars. Because it's more advanced technique, and many times the basics are not okay. So we tend to focus more on other actions like Sune, like doing Kudaso and all that. And there's still lots to work on that. but yeah, let's try to work on Fumikomi Sune. So from the things I've seen through the years for Fumikomi Sune, in terms of footwork, there's really lots of variation, okay, in my opinion. So I think that the easiest one to do, in a sense, is when you move your feet together and then you go with the second step to strike the sune. Having said that, given this solid facing forward the camera, some people do it here. Okay, so there's no hip rotation. And we're always saying that you should rotate the hips, right? I'll get back to that in a moment. And there's with the hip rotation, where you move, instead of moving like suriage, you're moving, rotating the hip as if you're going to go for a furiage, but stopping side to side, and then you go and do the hip rotation. Okay, those are two ways of doing it that have the two essential steps or parts of the technique are there, which is, if you're going to rotate the hip, you need to rotate it back. Okay, many people then become something like this, striking here instead of going and then rotating the hip, right? They maintain the angle and strike like facing forward, okay? Like bad kendo, okay? Not good kendo, bad kendo. Okay, kendo do it like that every way. But yeah, in bad kendo you do something like this. So not good, okay? But also going straight and then doing this, also not good. So going here and then snake, okay, also bad kendo, where you do fumikomi and then this leg is delayed and then it only moves way after, okay? So also, many people in Naginata circle say that in this kendo, I don't agree. If I did that in kendo, I wouldn't pass my Shodan exam. So I don't think it's kendo. So moving, so for both, so if I go, I need to rotate the hip. If I rotate it one side, I need to rotate it. And the thing is what we just practiced just now. I need my leg to move fast into the distance and use the rotation, okay? If you don't rotate, you still need to use the hip. And what I mean by that is, using the hip doesn't mean to rotate. I mean, I need to push it from the hip so it moves forward, okay? Of course, you're moving the foot. Of course, there's pressure on the foot, but this hip is doing movement. Okay, so going hip, okay, there, okay, this is really important. Otherwise, there's no kick and tie. It's easier to do it with the hip rotation there. Many people will see it, and it's easier to actually score or to do yokuda tots, okay? But if you do it like this, you still are able to do it if you use your hip into the strike. So do not do this off timing. It should be perfect timing. There. It comes back for the strike, and then you use your whole body for the strike, and it should be equal. Okay? Many people will say that there's no strike, this is not a good strike because of no hip rotation. Then it should be like this. And people also say that doing this, opponent sees it, so it's more difficult to actually do a valid strike. So I think both are right in the sense that one will be better than the other. But as long as you use your full body and full body movement to a strike, it's going to be a valid strike, and it's going to be a good strike if you move your whole body into the strike and do not delay anything. Okay. That's the main focus. You can do it at the top. You can do it without moving foot forward, just here using the hip and strike, or going just straight forward and strike. But hip movement is the same. You need to use the hip movement. You might not move the foot, you might move the foot, but the hip has to be there. Okay, and those are the many some of the many variations of Fumikomi Sune. Okay, the thing that's common to all of them is the use of the hip and timing of the strike. Okay, hi. So let's do this a couple of times. So let's do it easy. For now, let's go going forward. You can move or not the hip and go and push your body. Okay? Stay like this. Right. Let's do it until the end. Stay. Stay. Stay.
Snake.
Tulip. Yeah, we lost Alexandra. She froze, and then I don't know. Her screen was frozen, and then she's connected now. So I guess something. Hi. So the next thing, I don't have much time. It's already a little late. So, but the next thing is. The strike is coming a little from the side, so we're focusing more on the legs, which is like ideal because the legs are the most important. But of course, the blade angle is very important as well. Okay, so we shouldn't strike. It's not just doing this and striking there. No. So we have done this in the past, but I'll do a small recap. We can do it going here, so I'll do it face the camera. We can go there, so right forward, pressing through the center, and changing for Sune, okay? And we can also do it pressing as if we're going for man, and change for Sune, okay? Of course, yeah, we should know how to do man, because I might not just faint, faint like in quotes, air quotes. I can go up, and strike man, actually. Okay? I should be able to do it. But either way, from here, I'm going to need to use my wrist and my forearm. A little. So, especially, yeah, here. Okay. Okay. So it should be here. Of course, for men, you just go straight because your strike is straight on that line. It's just this movement, right? Bam. For Sune, you have to go around a little. Okay. So to go around, you're going to have to push it to the back end to the side. Okay. Here. So going, and you go down. So from the front, I'm going to that side, as if I was doing a circle, okay, but not really, because then it becomes something like this coming back. But it's still a small circle here. Okay, front end doesn't do much, although it's moving slightly. It's doing something, not much. So here, so small circles. And then going there. It's like a spiral. Or spiraling downwards to the strike. Hello, Alexander. Welcome back.
Hello. Sorry, I
Okay.
have issues with the internet.
Everyone's having technical issues today.
Yeah.
So I was talking about the arms. So the Ashisabaki is, we need to work on it, but it's getting there. The hands, however, need also some work. Legs are always more important, but since we're using a weapon like the Naginata, and we have a blade in the blade direction, we should follow the blade direction to the strike. Okay? So, if we're going to strike Sune at this angle here, we need to do that angle before. We shouldn't do it from here, trying to strike to the side. Okay, some people do it. It's not the best way. So we need to push forward. Okay, so if it's men, we're just going to push forward, up and down. We don't push back. We don't pull back. We're going to push, and then this soft movement. Okay, this is for men. For Sune, you need to do the same, but with the extra opening up to the side. If you try to do it here, you're going to eat like the do, the tari, the leg, not really the Sune. So you need to go up to the side and go down. Up, side. So we can practice with circular motion, like trying to do a small circle here, not too big. You don't need to do it here. Just this, relax the arms, move forward, so it's a spiral forward into the Sune. That's how I tend to do. So let's do it here, circle, 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 spiral, Sune. And moving the legs with the body, with the strike. Amy? So I'm not the best person to talk about this specific point, as many others, but this one in specific. So don't, like, it's really difficult, at least for me also, to not use the front arm while I'm doing a strike. So always a back, okay? But it's very easy for in and to do this, right? But the thing is, it won't work as well if you actually strike something, like when we get back to the dojo or with other people. But you can strike the wall. For instance, you put the sunyate on the wall, and you can strike the wall without damaging your habit. You can try that also, and it works well actually, or it works better than striking the air. Hey, but what I wanted to mention, if you do it, yes. Yeah, so you'll notice that it's going to bounce off. Too much power is going to come back from the strike into your elbow, and your elbow is going to suffer a little. So it's not really good. So you should strive to. So when you do it, for men you have to go up, right? More sooner you can go up. If you're like going up, sooner. Okay, for instance, you can feint. It's also easier to do a better strike if you go up. So sometimes you can go up without even thinking about semi. It's going to be slower, of course, but yeah, it helps. Okay, you can do this. But notice what my front end is doing. And it's going up. Okay, going up. It has to go down. Okay, so it has to be soft. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck here. Okay, so really soft, but okay, using the wrist. Up, down, here, up, down. Okay, not pulling with the arm, but going forward. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so having soft movement really important, right? Okay, even split up with the back leg, up, down. Okay, so this is important to practice Fumikomi Waza. Like Fumikomi meant Fumikomi Su. Okay, so try to relax, and as soon as you're able to start getting better with this and try to strike something also, so you can feel the difference when eating with a straight arm, like a stiff arm, and softer arm, and you'll see the bounce, the quality of the strike upon the tackle. So in one it will bounce off and you feel some discomfort, the other will be nice sound, nice touch, better feeling in your body while doing it, okay? But yeah, I'm not really that good in general at Naginata, but I'm really not that good at Fumikomi Sune, okay? And Fumikomi Waza in general, so something I have to practice more. But in general, this is what I'm kind of focusing at the moment, okay? And I try to tell people to work on this, because I think it really makes a difference. feet work, body movement, really important. But this is also important. Otherwise, yeah, you're using a weapon. You need to strike with the proper part and actually strike, good strike. So this movement, not this. For beginners, okay. So for beginners, if you're teaching beginners or you're practicing with beginners, or if it's a beginner is doing it, I believe it's kind of okay to let them do this. Okay. So they get the feeling that you actually need to to actually arm your weapon and then strike like with a big motion, with a motion, okay? Otherwise, they go to the other side, sometimes they go to the dark side where it's just like touching. It shouldn't, you don't need to do this to strike, but you need to like do something, not just touch. You need to strike, not touch. Okay, so it's better for them to do this than to do this. So actually do something and not just touch. Okay, so it's okay for beginners, in my opinion. But for us that we're teaching, we should try to do better movements. Okay, and it's really difficult. So I think that for today, it's over for today. Also, so small recap for Fumikomi was you can join the feet together. You can do it from the standing position. If you join the foot together, so yeah, you can do it facing forward, turning the hip without turning the hip. Okay. You don't need to step with the foot. You just need to slide. Okay, no need for stomping the ground. Okay, so moving, most important thing, this movement with your body and rotation. Okay, if you rotate, you need to rotate again. If you don't rotate, you still need to use the hip to go forward into the strike. Okay, arms. For Fumikomi man, you can go, it's just going straight down, straight down, straight down. Okay. Then you need to move the wrist, you need to move the arm, okay? And it's going to forward into the strike. For Sumi, you need to do the same, but also opening to the side with the back hand. Not with the front hand, you don't do this. You don't strike from the side, you need to go up, or you can go up. You can also not go up as much, you can just go here and strike. But you need to move to the side, okay, before going for the strike. Important, okay? You can, if you know how to do Fumikomi man, you can use that to your advantage, and you can press going up, and then going down for Sumi, or you can just go up and continue for man. Okay, now I'm exaggerating with the stamping so you can see it, because I'm closer to the camera. Here, because I'm closer to the camera. It's just this, okay? So you need to be able to do both, so you can change them, and then moment's notice. Also, if I really want to do Fumikomi man, I'll probably do this. Not without I don't go up until the last moment. But if I'm fainting, most likely I'll do this, so they move, and then I change. So yeah, small tricks over there. Finally, what I want to say more, movement, hip, arms, striking, moving forward. Don't, even though you're moving forward, try not to do this, okay? Even if you see Japanese Taikai, you'll see sometimes people, man, that's not good. You should try to avoid that. Okay. Of course, you don't need to step like for the strike. You can just do it. Even if you rotate, you can do it up. Okay. Rotation and moving. Finally, like last thing, if I'm here at this distance, like at the top of the Kasaki, If I don't move my legs, it's going to be very difficult to strike the man or Sune. It's really far away, right? So, but if you do this, the opponent is going to see. So it really depends on your timing and the opponent's timing. You can do this, of course, in GI, it's no problem. But you need to be careful about the timing. Also, this is going to take some, so it's going to take longer. But you can do it from further away. What you cannot do is to stop. If you go here and then you stop, you're nowhere, okay? If you go with this, you really need to go. Don't stop until it's over, okay? And how do I strike? If this is too far away, then why am I practicing striking like this? Because like I said before, we start here at the tip, and then we move into the distance. We can move in several different ways, but I need to move over here to strike most techniques. Okay, so I need to pressure my opponent before I can strike Sune, Famasov, we call it, but really stab. Okay, like the cats, they are preparing their hind legs, moving slightly, and then they jump. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's it for today. I see the cats are already wanting attention as always. So, do you have any questions? I can try to answer or help. Or if you have any questions, let me know.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just line up and okay. So maybe. Okay. Okay.
Arigatou gozaimasu.